Hi, everybody. I'm Brittany Lewis, a breaking news reporter here at Forbes. Joining me now is my Forbes colleague, money and politics reporter, Kyle Khan-Mullins. Kyle, thanks so much for joining me.
Always great to be here, Brittany. Thanks for having me.
According to reporting from our colleague Dan Alexander, President Trump's crypto ventures now make up the bulk of his net worth. President Trump has touted that his youngest son, Barron Trump, has extensive knowledge of the currency. And you're reporting that Barron Trump made a pretty penny himself from his father's crypto ventures. Just how much?
Absolutely, Brittany. My colleague Dan and I were estimating that Barron could have made around $40 million from a stake in the Trump family's crypto business. The one we're talking about here is World Liberty Financial. That's separate from the Trump meme coin. That's a separate Trump business we could talk about another time. But what we learned recently, Trump released his financial disclosure report, and it revealed that his stake in this World Liberty Financial business as of last year was 52.5%. And then unnamed family members of his owned another 22.5%. And if you look at the masthead of World Liberty Financial, who's in charge there, you see that he has three sons who are all listed as founders there: Don Jr., Eric, and Barron. Assuming that they all share equal stakes, Barron would have taken 7.5% of the overall venture. That's the same percentage, by the way, that Trump's three eldest children held in his DC hotel. And so we calculate that would have made Barron roughly $40 million, with a couple of caveats that I know we're going to get into.
I want to talk about one of those caveats because your team also reported about a letter from January of 2025, and it showed that the Trump organization sold a stake in World Liberty Financial, and we know that's the crypto company associated with the Trumps. Financially, what does that mean to Barron Trump and that $40 million?
The short answer is we're not 100% sure. We have this letter that shows that in one of the Trump court cases that shows that they appear to have sold off a stake in this World Liberty Financial business. We also have just the statements on World Liberty Financial's website that have shown that the percentage owned by the Trump family members has been declining over time. But we don't know exactly how much it's gone down and how much they sold their stake for and what the terms of the sale were. We don't really know any of that, probably until next year's financial disclosures from Donald Trump. That's just the way these things shake out. This sale appears to have taken place after this most recent financial disclosure took place. So all of this is to say that 40 million number is assuming that Barron does still have that 7.5% stake, depending on how much if he did sell part of his stake, and depending on how much he sold it for, that number could be a little higher or lower.
And we know Barron's older brothers, Don Jr., as well as Eric Trump, have been in the family business now for decades. So how does this $40 million stack up to how much both Don Jr. and Eric Trump were making from their dad, or with their dad, rather, at his age?
It's a very generous welcome to the Trump family business, in short. His older siblings, we're talking about Don Jr., Eric, also Ivanka, they had stakes in Trump's DC hotel, one of Trump's Las Vegas properties, but those didn't end up throwing off nearly as much money for them as this $40 million that we're talking about. Now, I should say the older siblings have also been working for the Trump organization since the 2000s. Eric and Don Jr. are still the executive vice presidents there. They run the company. Ivanka stepped away when her was elected to the White House the first time. Also, Ivanka's married to Jared Kushner. He's nearly a billionaire in his own right. So the older siblings are still likely wealthier than Barron, per our estimates. But this has helped Barron narrow the gap pretty considerably.
And Don Jr. and Eric Trump, they do have decades on Barron, but they have been in the spotlight in a way now for years that Barron simply has not. We have seen a lot of them. They've been EVPs at the Trump organization. They've spoke at a recent crypto conference in Vegas. They've been steadily interviewed for years on cable news networks, but Barron Trump's not so much in the public eye. What do we know about the 19-year-old?
We don't know a ton. His mom, Melania, has really tried to keep him out of the public eye while he was growing up. We do know that he attended some expensive private schools in New York and Maryland and Florida for his education as his family moved from state. Today, he's a student at New York University's Stern business. That tuition and cost of attendance there runs about $100,000 a year. And reportedly, we believe that he advised his father on how to appeal to young voters during the campaign. Beyond all that, he has a huge public debut yet. We'll see if he ends up doing that at some point in the near future.
And to that point, there was reporting that he was the person who was in his dad's ear during the 2024 campaign saying, hey, you need to get on podcasts. You need to meet voters in that realm. But is this the first time, his first foray into the family business?
Well, Brittany, it depends on what you mean by family business. I think at this point here at Forbes, we might describe politics as the Trump family business, in which case, his entry into, advising his father might be his first of the family business. But if you're talking about the money-making side of things, the Trump organization, yes, we believe this is his first foray into the family business.
And he is still a student at NYU. He has, according to your reporting, made $40 million in crypto. I mean, how has he made this amount of money so fast?
So the Trump organization entity that Barron appears to have at least some stake in, it gets a share of all of the revenues for this World Liberty financial business, over $30 million. So the company sold about 550 million of these tokens in total. If you do the math out, after that first 30 million, do the math, assuming he has a 7.5% stake, that comes out to about $39 million for Barron before taxes. Take out the taxes, probably closer to 25 million or so. But that's, in short, that's how much they are selling cryptocurrency and pocketing the cash.
And Trump, as we've talked about, went from bearish to bullish on crypto from term one to term two. He essentially said in term one, crypto wasn't real. He's vowed in term two to be the first crypto president to make the United States the crypto capital of the world. If the Trumps, as you're reporting, are making hand over fist when it comes to crypto, what does that indicate to you, if anything, about where his policies on the industry will go next?
Well, to paraphrase my colleague and Trump expert, Dan Alexander, Trump has always been incredible at selling hype, and crypto is one of the most hype-driven businesses in the world right now. As for Trump's crypto businesses in office, this is an issue that a lot of ethics experts and watchdogs, certainly Democrats who are opposed to Trump, have all raised, that Trump is regulating an industry that he's also making enormous amounts of money from. Dan recently estimated that Trump has made over $1 billion from cryptocurrency, at least. The tech right and the crypto industry were also very big backers of Trump during his most recent campaign, the 2024 campaign. And that's because he showed that he was going to be a little bit friendlier to them. So I would personally be shocked if we see any attempt at any regulation of the crypto industry. That might cut into the president's own pocketbook, and I don't see an incentive for him to do that.
Kyle, I always appreciate your reporting. I always love our conversations. Thank you so much for your insight, and until the next one.
Always great to be here, Brittany. Thanks again.